Hello all, it's Fletch here. Man, I tell you, reading articles about what's going on in Detroit with the doctors that have performed the nicks and the scrapings on these girls. Oh, you can just see the hypocrisy and the way people can't seem to just realize that circumcision and the female genital mutilation are completely the same. They are both mutilation. I mean, I've been going on in these comments. I've been answering a lot of people's questions. I've been talking to a lot of people who think that there are no bad side effects to circumcision because they've never heard of them, which shows that they don't do the research. I've had one person tell me straight out, circumcision doesn't harm anyone. Well, I decided to let them know about what circumcision did to me. And their response was basically, well, that's just you. And sorry to hear that. There's people on there that say that they're going to do it for their religion when they're Christian. And the New Testament says don't. We've got people who want their sons to match them, which, you know, as a lot of my friends like to write, who the hell compares their fucking dick to their father's? Does the child ever sit there and say, well, gee, Dad, mine's longer, but yours is thicker? Dude. Okay. I had in the car the other day when I was driving for the rideshare service a group of kids get in. They saw that I had some artwork, and I'll show it to you in a second because I'm very proud of this one. I mean, right now it's basically just a sketch, but, you know, hey, it's pretty good if you ask me. I don't know how well you can see this, but it's basically a evil doctor holding down a baby getting ready to circumcise them. I might add some kind of you know, symbology and all that to it, but they saw my artwork and they asked questions about it, and I told them about being an intactivist. Well, one of them decided to tell a story about a guy he met in Norway who apparently was crazy as anything, because what he did was he cut his banjo string with nail clippers when he was younger, and they're all talking like they don't know what the hell a banjo string is. The guy said that he went to the bathroom because he was drunk as hell and he wanted to make sure his banjo string was fine. And just from the description of it, I knew what part it was. He was talking about the frenulum. And if the guy did that when he was younger with nail clippers, I don't want to even imagine the pain that he was in. But the point is, we got to talking, and these kids did not know, and I say kids when they're actually in their 20s, Sign of getting old. They didn't know all about the actual anatomy of the penis. They didn't know anything about the actual natural anatomy. All they knew was that there was what they heard was uncircumcised and cut circumcised. The man knew he was circumcised, but he didn't know that there were possible problems that could happen. And when I was telling them about the functions of the frenulum, the fact that it was the most sensitive part of the penis, and that more than likely when the two men that were in the car got circumcised, that was taken, they got pissed. They were upset because they realized that sex could have been a lot more enjoyable. And the girls in the car felt bad. If the people aren't told what they're missing, they'll be fine their whole life. But once it hits home, what it is that was taken from them, then a lot of people get angry. They were talking about how, but it's for cleanliness. Well, cleanliness, right? No. It's actually cleaner if you have it. They're like, well, it's supposed to stop, STDs and HIV, right? How? When I told them that there are some people that their whole life right now, anytime they're intimate, it can be, really dangerous for them. They felt bad because they realized that could have happened to them. Well, not the girls, but now we've got all of these people outraged at what's happening to the girls in Detroit, Michigan. And anytime somebody brings up circumcision, we're always met with, well, that's bull, it doesn't harm anyone. Even when I tell what happened to me, the first thing I hear is, well, you're the low common denominator. Again, like, I'm the allowed damaged. And the whole reason that I'm damaged is because it was done before puberty. People don't use their noggin. They don't think logically. The doctors have no way at all in figuring out how exactly puberty is going to change you. Then I hear, well, women get their labia sewn up. That's the worst kind, and that's only 10% of the cases out there. That's not the main set. Yes, it's horrible. Yes, it should never be done. But you can't go around just thinking that's the only form that's being performed. You have to have your head in reality. The percentage that's being done, the 90% that's left, are either just as bad or less than what's done to boys when it comes to circumcision. A tiny, tiny little scrape does nothing to harm, except for maybe a few nerves, compared to thousands taken from boys. A nick, a drawing of blood. Ooh, yeah. Again, a whole bunch of nerves and skin taken from boys is worse. Oh, but it's being done to oppress the girls. So was circumcision in the 1880s of boys. And it stayed. It was used as let's see, what's the word I looked for? A cure looking for a disease. The phrase I was looking for. Because that's exactly what it's become. It's become a cure looking for a disease. If you look at everything it's supposed to have cured over the years, from insanity, bedwetting, seizures, but if you also look at the women who are doing this to their own daughters, they're saying the exact same things that the parents over here are saying about their sons. It's being done for cultural reasons. It's being done for religious reasons. It's being done for health reasons. But again, as shown by the 70+% that are not circumcised around the world, there are no real medical benefits to it. As for religion, whose religion? Everybody's so concerned about religious freedom, but they don't consider the religious freedom of the child. Everybody makes such a big deal about how important religion is to a person's life, yet they take away the full choice. They take away the ability to make a full and concerning choice from the child upon what religion they will want when they grow up and are old enough to understand. Your religious freedom ends where another person's body starts. Your parental rights are only for the health and well-care of the child. Religion is not a well-care or a health issue. You may think it has to do with morality, but I've met a lot of people that don't have religion in their life that are a lot more moral than a lot of people that do have religion in their life. I know a lot of people that subscribe to Satanism, atheistic Satanism. I'm one. And I've probably helped more people than some of the people that I know that claim to be good Christians and good Catholics. Of course, I'm not saying all. I'm saying some. I've been to churches where they've tried to take away rights of people that their religion doesn't agree with. I've been to churches that want you to be in marriages no matter how bad they are, because according to them there is no such thing as a bad marriage. Right while I was going through one. religion doesn't want you to think for yourself. They want you to think what they want you to think. My mother would constantly ask to baptize my daughter. And each time I said no, it infuriated her. At one point she said, "Why? It's not like it matters to you. To you it's just water." I'm like, that's not the point. The point is, I don't want my daughter anywhere near religion until she is old enough to understand the complexity of it. And if you don't think it's complex, then you're not looking at it correctly. I want her to be able to question. I want her to be able to think for herself about, is this supposed to be a metaphor? Or do they really think that this happened? I want her to think for herself. So at this point, right now, she has not been exposed to any actual church or anything like that that I can think of, because I don't know what happens at school. I know they don't take her to church, but I know she's heard about God, and I know she's said bless you and all that, which pisses me off, because people don't realize how indoctrinated it is into our culture. I've actually had people get pissed as shit at me because I don't say bless you, I say Gesundheit. I've had people get so pissed at me because I don't fit into their little idea of what a normal male should be. Apparently people even give faces when they see the stickers on the back of my car. And according to one of my friends, he said he saw somebody do the cross thing and then do this when they passed my car, because on the back of it, it says "Got Satan." It has the Satan fish, and it also has at the bottom the Satanic Temple on it. And I find that absolutely hilarious. So religion is a complex thing. There are some good aspects of it, like it does bring a lot of people together. It does allow for networking, but it also raises the sheeple mentality. It creates a lot of work for people who want to be good in life, but have to restrict themselves to a narrow definition of what the church says is a prosperous way to live. The fact that there are a lot of people who can't agree on the beliefs of church. Oh, well, God wouldn't say, anything about the gays. He'd leave them be. Oh, but he said, love the sinner, not the sin. But he sat down with whores. Yeah, he said, go and sin no more. But this, but that, but for something that's supposed to be the divine word of God and infallible in its interpretation by man, The Bible has been revised so many damn times. And I'm not just going to pick on the Christians on this, or the Catholics, because the Jewish, I find fault in some of their rituals and beliefs. Like, not being around a woman when she's on her period. If you look at the old laws in Genesis, or, you know, if you look up old laws, some of them are just insane. You're not supposed to be around women that are on their period. You're not supposed to touch a woman who's on her period, or you are considered unclean, yada, yada, yada. Then they have the whole 2 threads of fabric crap, and, you know, the not eating pork. I'd be a bad Jew if I was Jewish, because I'd go crazy for bacon. Probably. I mean, I have to admit, I like it. I just don't go crazy for it like other people. But I love ham also. And I probably wouldn't care if it was halal or kosher or whatever. But their circumcision ritual has changed without real merit over time. It wasn't by divine interpretation or word that it was changed. It was changed by the rabbinical authority when it came to what needed to be done. Because some Jewish men were being considerate in Greece, where they were living at the time, not to offend, which would happen if the glands were able to be seen. So they would pull the prepuce forward, what they had left, because the original rite only cut that which hung past the tip, which would be what the rigid band is, but we'll go into that another time. But the original consisted of only cutting that which hung past the tip. And the authority at that time did not like it. They called it blasphemous. So what did they do? They had the men circumcised to where it could not be treated to look like they were not. They made it so that it was impossible for them to make it look like they were not circumcised. So they cut the rest of the foreskin off. And that's where it came from. It wasn't, as I said, a divine word of God. It was just because they didn't want it to be looked upon as blasphemous. But, yeah, getting back to the main starting point, I really cannot wait to see how this plays out. Because if they say that they cannot use religion as a reason to mutilate the girls, then they have no room to say that circumcision should be allowed by religion. They have absolutely no right to say that, because that is causing harm to a child. That is changing the natural state irreparably. I don't know what's going on with my speech lately, but it will not ever be able to be fully restored. You can get the look of it if you keep pulling on your skin and, restoring, but you're never going to get the nerves back. You're never going to get the mucosal membranes back. So it's a done deal, basically, which is the definition of mutilation: to harm and disfigure. You're leaving a scar. You're taking away the protective covering of the that is the foreskin. You are taking away the protective covering. You are taking away the skin that allows for better sex when you get older. Bottom line is, it is mutilation, and it is damaging to a lot of men. It's damaging to all men, but a lot of men don't recognize it. But let's hope that they rule against these doctors, and that we can go ahead and say, well then, guess what else should be stopped? Well, as always, please leave your comments and any points you want to make down at the bottom. I will try and link the news articles that I find, and feel free to look through the comment section, as it shows the mentality of hypocrisy in this nation. Till next time, this is Fletch. Bye.